everyone. Today I have with me Mike Esterday, CEO at Integrity Solutions, a performance improvement company. Mike, welcome.
Well, hi there, Jeff.
So let's just get started. First things first, for viewers who are unfamiliar, can you provide us a little background on Integrity Solutions?
Sure. Integrity Solutions is a 45-year-old global performance improvement company. We tend to specialize in improving sales, customer service, and coaching skills.
Okay, very cool, very cool. So diving down into that, it sounds like you're kind of reaching a lot of different areas of your customers and clients' needs. But what are the biggest challenges that your customers and clients are facing right now?
Well, I think there's a couple things. One, in the area of training, is how do you make training stick? We find that people get frustrated. They put together really good training courses. You have great facilitators, content that people need, but then people don't really change their behaviors. So number one is, how do you get that to stick? Number two is not just dealing with the easier skill-based types of training, but how do you impact attitudes, motives, achievement drive, some of the softer skills that are tougher to address. And number three, since we work in sales and service, we have a whole range of types of issues there. A common one is, how do you take a service organization and help everybody become more of a sales mindset? Mm-hmm. So they're thinking, how can I uncover needs that customers have, and how can I serve those customers?
Yes. So thinking about all those challenges, then, what are kind of some of the solutions that you would offer, and I guess best practices as well that you would offer these customers and clients?
Well, as far as getting training to stick, a couple of things there. One is that training can't just be a standalone. We believe it really must be part of a comprehensive process. And everybody that impacts training should be involved in putting together what that program is. For example, are we hiring the right people? Is marketing, do they need to be involved in how the marketing pieces coordinate with the sales training, for example? Managers must be involved in coaching the process. Because if managers don't understand the process, support it, model it, coach it, it's not going to work. So it's really a comprehensive process, number one. Number two is when training is rolled out. As I said, a lot of times event training doesn't work. So what we find that customers that do the best job with training tend to have pre-work, number one. Number two, that the training is very interactive. So it's not just a lecture type of training. And number three, that probably 90% of the benefit happens after the initial training. So we look at folks who get back together weekly, either on the web or on meeting format or by telephone, where people are accountable to tell what they did each week. It's a real-world practice, and applying the ideas with customers that make a difference and change behavior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And and kind of having these reinforcing things, because as you mentioned, I think people don't necessarily think of learning as this change in behavior, but that's really what is the output of a successful learning and training organization.
It really is. Too often people do training, but there are no results to show for it. So, we have a partnership and alliance with the Kirkpatrick folks, as most people know the 4 stages there. And the fourth one is the results. So if you're not tied into how does this actually change behavior and either sell more, help them serve better, or coach better, it's really wasted time and money.
Yeah, definitely. I want to drill down a little bit more into you work with a lot of different types of organizations, and one of it sounds like the specialties is this focus on customer service, which I think has had a resurgence or is now kind of in vogue again as something that is kind of worthy of our attention. For years, it may have kind of been in the back of the pack, and people weren't giving it any the time of day. But now with these companies like I think of Google or Zappos or these tech companies especially that are so focused on the customer and giving great customer experience that it's hard to maybe stick out of the pack. So what can companies do, especially in regards to their training of employees with customer service, to really provide top quality that will make them stick out in their industry?
That's a great question. As you asked that, I couldn't help but think about a convention that I went to 25 years ago. And they said a hot new topic was customer service. And here 25 years later, we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
I guess the question is why? Well, we just never really master it. And I think a lot of times today, customers have higher standards. They expect more. They have more choices. They can go on the internet and select other choices a lot easier. So we're finding that clients that do the best job with improving their service culture is they realize it's not just customer facing, but it's how they interact with each other. It's how they provide service to other departments, colleagues, because as the service profit chain that was written by Harvard said, it's really a chain of how we serve each other that drives the value that we create for customers, and then that impacts the service level and it ends up being the customer loyalty that we have. So we find that organizations that want to shift their culture, they don't just train a department. They don't just train the customer service department. They train everybody. Mm-hmm. It's really a cultural issue. It's how do we shift the culture so that everybody understands what their role is in serving customers' needs, identifying and serving needs.
Great, great. And I know today we've talked about a lot of things and kind of things at this broad and strategic level, but I'm wondering, before we close out, are there any kind of poignant case studies you can think of where Integrity Solutions has helped improve the performance improvement, as you guys do, of a specific company that was having some of these difficulties we've been talking about?
Well, we've had the pleasure over the years to work with over 2,000 clients in 130 plus countries. So we find there are certain people issues that are consistent around the world, no matter where it is. Some that come to mind, Johnson & Johnson we've worked with globally, and what we've seen is a dramatic increase in sales and also in customer loyalty by the way they impact their sales skills and the way they impact the manager skills of coaching people. We find that they have increased time with physicians, for example. They sell more products. They have stronger customer retention. Another example is in the utility industry. A number of years ago, Duke Power was trying to shift their call center from just a service center to more of a sales center. So people that would call in, they might need their electricity turned on or off, but they were also selling them budget billing and other outdoor lighting and other things. And we found a 300% to 900% increase in sales by not just teaching people how to sell, but teaching people to shift their mindset of what selling is. Because too often people, whether you're in a bank or a service center, so I didn't get into this to be a salesperson. But yet they really, when you think of sales as identifying needs and filling needs, they really should be selling. Mm-hmm. So our specialty is shifting not just skills, but also mindset, whether it's service, sales, or coaching.